Welcome to Relentless Phoenix Podcast. This is your girl, Yahne, aka Yaya. I am going to be discussing today all things mental health, mainly the journey between self doubt and self love, part one and two. As many of y'all already know, those that are following know I had a very traumatic and stressful childhood. And growing up, I had difficult time finding support around me that would help pull me through some of those struggles that I had to face psychologically. It had taken a long time and many years of work to become the human I am today. And as I grow older, I am still learning about myself, and I'm proud of the human I become or became rather in this moment. As someone who has their fair share of mental health struggles like depression, anxiety, and a whole load of trauma in her childhood, I wanted to start the couple of my podcast episodes to not only record my journey and tell my story, but in hopes of helping someone else who, like the past me, who felt lost or looking for purpose or searching for their identity. If it sounds like something that you're interested, please stay tuned, like, and subscribe. So today's topic will be centered around self-doubt and how to combat it. Part two will be centered around self-love, where I'll delve deeper into my experiences with both topics and discuss some of those tips that I use to help me with my insecurities or how I promoted myself in a positive way when it came to self-love through my struggles with self-doubt. So, without further ado, let's get into the topic. So, self doubt. I'm going to give the dictionary definition of self doubt, and also my definition of self doubt, just so we can have a general understanding of where I'm coming from when I start to explain, further into this topic. So, the definition of self doubt, the dictionary definition, is a lack of confidence in oneself and one ability. That's pretty self explanatory, a lack of confidence in oneself and one's ability. However, for me, I think self doubt is more broader, if you will, more deeper than just that simple definition. The definition that I see self doubt is a mental state which is stuck between two opposing ideas about one's identity due to a lack of mental clarity about oneself. And I believe this goes past just lack of confidence, because I think it goes into other ideas that we embody that comes from our thoughts, which is lack of confidence or lack of self-esteem and a lack of awareness. I think all three comes from self-doubt. So not just it comes from lack of confidence. It comes from lack of self-esteem. It comes from a lack of awareness as well. So self doubt promotes stressors. I feel like self doubt promotes stressors that may not have been presented if you went through that challenge, or may not have been a presenting factor to consider if you didn't have self doubt involved. I think is really a hindrance to our growth and a blocker to our mind state when we need to deal with a challenge. And it's a shame because a lot of individuals go through this experience, and it can have a lot of missed opportunities when you happen to influence the negative attributes of self-doubt. Self-doubt can lead to having a little bit of humility, because cause when you're overly confident, it turns into pride. So having a little bit of humility never hurt anyone, but when you lean into the negative part of self-doubt, it can have a strong hindrance on your growth and learning experience, because you're not really perceiving what you're supposed to perceive in order to grow in a healthy mind state. And the reason why I call self-doubt a mental state, because it's a way of thinking. How you feel about yourself and how you see your obstacles is a way of thinking. So I call it a thinking state of being. And if you have a lot of doubt, then you're not in the knowing of what your purpose is and your identity. And that causes a lot of crisis for yourself, like depression, anxiety. This can come from several places, But the main theme of these several places are repetitive history of negative experiences that has been rooted in your psyche, in someone's psyche about who they are and how they should see the world. That's where it gets created from. Repetitive negative experience. Any negative experience, if it wasn't promoted in a positive way or shaped in a molded way that can promote a healthy mind state of who you are and how you see yourself, yes, that's self-doubt. Basically, that's where it comes from. Self-doubt, as I'm sure we all have experienced, have a lot of risk factors. One of those risk factors come from or goes hand in hand with uncertainty, insecurities, depression, like I mentioned before, lack of identity, and lack of purpose in an individual. And it will cause a lot of misguidedness. And you will probably take the long road and finding yourself because of self doubt than you would have if you ever faced those challenges to see what you're really made of. So, a lot of missed opportunities in regards to your growth when it comes to that, and it's due to your doctrine, how you was raised. It influenced how you saw yourself as well. So if you have parents that are not promoting a healthy mind state of you're the best, or you're smart, or you're intellectual, or you're funny, then you're going to have a lot of questions of who you are. And if you have that and you start embodying that as you get older, you're gonna change, what how you see things and how you're gonna see yourself. So if you feel like you're not fun or you're not smart, then any challenge that goes against that, saying here, you have to study for this test. If you don't believe you're not smart, that self doubt starts pouring into you, and you and start feeling a void inside of you because you didn't have that void. You had that void because you didn't have that support. So now that self doubt is here, start filling that void up, and now you're all feeling worthless, and now you're trying to move through this, and you can't because you don't believe you can. So that's an issue with self-doubt, when it comes to your doctor and how you was raised. Even teachers, anyone who wants to be a caregiver around you, if they didn't pour into you or speak life into you, you will embody what someone has said because you don't know who you truly are. You're doubting both, like I said, opposing views. Am I worthy? Am I not worthy? I was told that I'm not, but here's a challenge that I have to go through, and now I'm feeling depressed or anxious about passing it because I don't even know my abilities, my capabilities in overcoming this, which is a struggle in itself. So your doctrine plays a huge role in how you see yourself, and that's all in your childhood. And we don't really get a chance to work through that. We're just told to move through it, but never was shown how. Especially if you never went to a good therapist, never really shown how to deal with those childhood traumas or those negative thought patterns that your caregivers or your caretaker supposed to have been, shining a light on you, but it took it away. So how do you deal with that? You start creating these thoughts that you're not worthy because no one ever expressed that to you, or you never had enough of it that overshadow any negative thoughts that you had about yourself. And I was surprised that when I started looking at, how many individuals on earth experience some type of form of self-doubt or lack of confidence, the statistic shows 80%. 80% of individuals, 80% of the collective struggle with some form of self doubt. And it's not to say that one part of you can't have self doubt if the other part is confident. We multifaceted. So, in general, 80% of the collective feels as though they have some form of self doubt. And the reason why I'm repeating 80% because I think everyone has some form of self doubt, and it should be 100%, to be totally honest. So to say roughly 80%, I saw some that said 85% of the world, that's speak volumes to what the world looks like today. And I don't think it speaks volumes in a good way, because that's about 20% of the world who feel as though they're perfect. And humans have a very strong sense of entitlement to them and a lot of pride. And I feel like if 20% of the world is saying that they're perfect, then that's a contradiction because humans are not perfect. So I feel like there is some learning that needs to grow collectively. But to say 80% of the world, that's even shocking in itself, because in order to have self doubt, like I said, it has to come from somewhere. Someone told you that you were worthless. Someone told you that you wasn't going to amount to anything. Someone told you something, and that's a crazy thing about this world. We always want someone to give us something, but we can never return a favor. We always point and blame, and we have to realize when you have one finger pointing at someone else, you have three pointing at yourself. So we have to be careful of how we make this world go around. What are you doing? What choices are you making to help someone else? And it's like a domino effect. If you make one choice, the next choice is going to have to follow in a positive way. That's how the world works. Positive. If you do something good, you respect good results. Positive. So we have to really be aware of what we do and how we fit into this world, how we see ourselves and how we see others. That's why I was saying that it's a mind state of opposing views on ourselves and also on others. We can self doubt others as well. But to say 80% was, a crazy thing to me. And how 20% feels like everything is right with the world. I would like to argue that it's not. You have to look a little bit deeper into yourself, put some of those labels back that you have in yourself, and really look deeper, because this world should be a little bit better on the brighter side. And the reason why I say that is because if we have individuals, and I know individuals in my family who gambles, they give away at least 20%. You tie at least 10%. So 20% of one individual can really change the difference of someone else's life. And the fact that individuals saying 20% of the collective feel as though there's no self-doubt within them, then that begs to differ, what you're doing with your life to give back to the community. If you're feeling like you're all that in a bag of chips, right? But that's just my 2 cents. But the 80% I feel is very alarming. And self-doubt is a very strong concern for me, because it really does influence the way we behave. When we behave, it's all about behavior, right? Our choices. And if we have self doubt comes with a lot of things. And if you're not careful and you influence that negative part about you, you're influencing someone else. And it don't have to be in a strong negative way, but the way you approach life, how you see life, you don't know who you're influencing when you start talking in a negative way. So we have to be careful of ourselves and how we feel about things and how we see the world and how we see others. And I'm gonna keep repeating that because I think it's really important when it comes to just being self-aware of who you are in respect to this world. Your thought process happens first before you even make a choice. And you wonder why did I make that choice? Because something in your psyche, something in your subconscious, deep down, had you decide that factor or had you decide that choice, and you may not have even known that. So it's important to gather up, self doubt. Because when you gather up your self doubt, and you knock it down and you tear to pieces, and you build your confidence up, you start making proper healthy choices for yourself and for others. And we have to start having those inward conversations with ourselves, that keeps us chained and confused. Those thoughts, those negative thoughts that have us questioning ourselves or challenging ourselves instead of questioning and challenging the situation or event that lying in front of us. And that would probably be more of a benefit. But we have to start by believing in us. And we can't do that if we're so chained to those thoughts and confused. We have to make decisions and deal with those decisions and learn from it. And self doubt would definitely keep you stuck, and who wants to be stuck? I know I don't. I definitely don't want to be stuck having to worry about a decision if I'm making the right choice or a wrong choice. We have to learn from our mistakes, and we have to believe that we're making the right one with those cards, those informations that's in front of us. We're going to do the best thing we can with those cards that's being dealt and move along and not be chained to any thought process or patterns that goes on inside of us. It's truly, truly important. It truly, truly is important. Because self doubt was created during our childhood, we definitely have to be even more aware. Certain self doubt has been created maybe when you was in your adulthood, when you had a job and you have a boss that's really riding you and saying that this deadline has to be today. You know what I mean? Like you're not comfortable in that job. That can create self doubt in your adulthood as well. But most of our trauma and self doubt or how we see the world do come from our childhood, and we have to be aware of those be aware of those decisions and those moments when it happens, because it's really important to gather up all of that and understand where it comes from. And we do, and like I said, most of it does come from our childhood, but sometimes we don't understand how deep is rooted inside of us, and we have to challenge that. I have to challenge that every day. And it's a benefit because we grow from it. We have a better understanding of who we are because we're growing from it as we challenging it. And we can unlock those chains that we had about ourselves from others that influenced us. And we can start to see the doubt that was never supposed to reflect who we are. And the doubt was supposed to reflect what we see in front of us. We have to believe we can move the mountain. We have to believe we can ace the test. We have to believe that we can get this job. We have to believe that, because if we're not our own best friend, then we are our worst enemy. So do you want to fill yourself up with self-doubt? You can, but you're going to have so many missed opportunities, so much self-awareness and growth and learning that you just lost out on because you rather focus on the negative. We all had negativity. All of us. There's not no one individual on this world that has no negativity. We all have it. But the choice is your next choice on what you're going to do is up to you. Your next choice is up to you. We can do it all, but we have to believe we're more than our tough situations. We have to believe that we're more than how tough the situation looks, because that's all it is. It's just perception. It really is. When it comes to self-doubt, it's perception. My thing is, what I tell my clients is that you would never, if you have self-doubt, and you're trying to fly, right? And you don't know if you can spread your wings fast enough or long enough, right? You always gonna remain in that that nest, because you refuse to see what you can do. That's what self-doubt is. It's a hold, it's a chain. But if you never fly, you never know how high you can go. So you can let self-doubt creep in and fill that void up that someone else should have felt up with purpose and meaning and hope. You can fill it up with self-doubt, or you can fill it up with courage. It's all about the state of being. It's all about the state of being. Once again, if you never fly, you can never know how high you can soar. You never know how high you can soar. And you always going to remain stuck. So the choice is yours. Treat yourself like a little Tweety bird that has to go out and fly. Do you want to stay in the nest, or do you want to see how far you can go? And you may land and hurt yourself, but you would have never known how far you can before you hit your head if you would have stayed right where you at. But now you know, and you know what not to do. So next time you do it, you can learn. But you're not going to learn just standing still. And that's what self-doubt is, a killer of growth. Now, before I continue, I have some good news. But please like and subscribe. If you're liking what I'm saying so far, please support your girl. I will greatly, greatly appreciate it. I have some news. I have some merch I want to share with you guys. Some great merch I want to share with you guys, and how it goes to my initiative, one human at a time. So, this is my first merch. It is a mug, a Relentless Phoenix mug. I'm not for sure if you can see that. It's a Relentless Phoenix mug. If you can see that. Yep. Nice, nice mug. Okay. The other one is I have Relentless Phoenix shirt. Okay. It's in white so far, but they're really good. They're sturdy. really good t-shirts. And I also have, I'm an author, so I have written a novel and I want to get that advertisement out. So thank you guys. It's called Manifest Your Canvas on Amazon. Manifest Your Canvas on Amazon. Now, I show these to y'all for a little segue is because I have a very important initiative I want to share with you guys, and I hope you can support it. So the Relentless Phoenix mug, the Relentless Phoenix t-shirt, and my novel Manifest Your Canvas, which is on Amazon, this is going to fund a journal initiative that I will be creating. It's already in the works. I just do need the funding. This initiative would be giving out journals to high school students and plus, but mostly mainly high school students. These journals is just like any other self-help journal, but the difference is I will be having my life story in there with many tips and tricks that I personally use to manifest the best version of myself. So I would like some support if you can with this, a mug, this t-shirt, purchasing one of my novels that's on Amazon. So when I create these journals and give them out, they would be supporting girls that's in high school that are going through identity crisis or purpose and need a little something to write in. And these proceeds will go to that as well, the journal initiative. And it also going to be going to something that is very dear to my heart that I want to create. I want to create an initiative in the maternity ward as well, giving journals out to expecting moms that either lost their child or had emergency C-section. Those proceeds will be going towards them as well, in hopes that can shine some type of hope when they exit out of these maternity wards, to give them something to write in about their journeys and how they have been. My light went off, guys. Sorry. And how they've been experiencing their story with their journey in the maternity. Oh Lord. All right, I'm gonna start over. Yeah, cut that part out. Cut that part out. Let me start over. Now, before I continue, I want you to like and subscribe if you like what I have. Oh. Now, before I continue, I would love if you can like and subscribe if you enjoy my content so far. Has been a good journey for me starting this podcast, and the comments that I have been getting in my social media has been great. But I want to see it down below, guys. So I'm new to podcasting, so like and subscribe, show that support, and tell me how I'm doing so far, guys, and if it's really resonating with you guys. And before I continue, I have some merch that I want to share. The first one is I am an author. I have a book called Manifest Your Canvas on Amazon. This is the book right here. It's called Manifest Your Canvas on Amazon. It has a lot of tips and tricks that you can use today that I also use in my daily life to overcome a lot of different obstacles and adversities, and also try to find your way to finding your purpose and identity. The second thing is one and two things. I am owner of a Relentless Phoenix mug. If you would like one, guys, please let me know. These mugs are out now in my shop. If you would like one, I also have a Relentless Phoenix t-shirt as well, if you would like one. So please check it out. And the reason why I'm bringing this up on this podcast is because I have one initiative, but I have it under two different one umbrella, two different initiatives. The initiative is a journal initiative where I will be giving these journals out to different schools, different high schools, and hope that they can use these journals that have my stories and the same tools and tricks that I have in Manifest Your Canvas, that they would be able to promote the best version of themselves. And I believe they do need that. I believe every high school needs one, and with your help, those proceeds would go to that journal initiative of the high schoolers getting the journals. And then my other initiative I am working on is sending these journals that I am creating to the maternity ward. This way that they can document and journal down their different life experiences when it came to the maternity ward, good and bad. So they will leave out with at least something that they can write their feelings down on instead of having it bottled up. If y'all followed anything that I have been doing my podcast or interviews that I have been on, you would know that I had two emergency C-sections. So I definitely know how it feels to need to write in a journal or write your thoughts down when you are in a condition like that, just to get your thoughts on the paper and just to feel like you have somewhere to share it and it's private. So, I have two journal initiatives, and I would appreciate if you can, buy one of my merchants, help a sister out here to spread this positive love and affirmations to everyone so they know they have purpose and meaning in this world. And that's something that I wanted to take a break in to share that. Also, if you one another option I have is I have a GoFundMe, and that will also be in description. So if you don't want to buy the cup or the T-shirt or the book, you just want to donate. Awesome! I have a GoFundMe, and it'll definitely be in description below. Once again, it's my journal initiative. I have a mug, I have T-shirts, and I have my novel called Manifest Your Canvas. All the proceeds will go to the Journal Initiative for high school students and for the maternity ward in the hospitals. So now back to self doubt. Thank you guys as well for tuning in. So now I want to talk a little bit of self doubt and my own experience and the different things that I've been through and how and what tools and tricks that I use. And hopefully you can gather up one of those tips and tricks you can use today to implement to be the best version of yourself and build that confidence and self-love and self-awareness that you absolutely deserve in your own waking life. So when I was in college, I had a lot of self-doubt. This was during the time I really didn't know myself. I was gathering up who I was because I saw sparks of it throughout my life that I felt my most belonging was when I would start helping individuals. I went to school for social work, but it was difficult trying to master the art of being a college student along with just being a adolescent. You know what I mean? Going through the whole middle school and high school. I had a rough childhood, and then now all of a sudden it's all hands off, and the world expects you to swim, and you don't even know how to doggy pedal, and that's where I was at in that world. So I had a lot of self doubt and who I am, how I fit into this world. And I always wondered what my purpose was. So when I got to college, I thought social work was it. And, kind of found out that's not really what I wanted. So like, what is it? What is it about me that I can tune into? And when I was at my desk one time. I forgot what I was reading. I was reading something that was college related. And, I bawled out in tears because I was thinking about giving up college. I was thinking about just leaving college. College is too hard for me because I wasn't a student that, can read a chapter and got it the first time I read it. I had to read it countless of times, one paragraph over and over again. So, I was one of those that needed extra assistance or needed to sit down maybe an hour or two longer to comprehend some of the material. So I got overwhelmed on top of my own personal business that I had to deal with in college as well. So had a lot of self doubt of who I am. Can I make it out of college? But when I was reading and I think it was social work. I was reading something in social work. It could have been history because I really don't like history. It's so complicated with a whole bunch of dates and numbers, and we don't need it. But nevertheless, when I was reading, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna just give up. And I heard a voice, guys, and the voice said, "You're doing it." And I would never forget this. Word. It was clear as day. It said, "You're doing it," and I said it out loud. I said, "I'm doing it." I was like, "Wait." I am doing it. I was like this, I'm sitting here really believing that I can't do it, really believing that there's issues with me. And here I am in my third year of college, really a third or fourth year, because I did 5 years, and I'm like my third or fourth year in college. Here I am thinking about dropping out, and I made it. I did 2 years. Here I am about to finish off, my next year. I'm doing it. There's no one holding my hand. I'm waking up every day, making a conscious decision to even just show up. That's 50% of the work. just showing up to the class, getting down what I can get, asking questions. I'm doing what I can. Yes, it's difficult and excruciating, but I'm doing it. And I had so much self-doubt in me. I'm like, where is the self-doubt? Why did I have so much self-doubt about the struggles that I've been through? And when I started challenging those self-doubt, I realized all the depression I had, all the anxiety I had, all the fears, the mental concerns, me feeling I want to drop out, all that didn't come from me. The negative thoughts that I had came from others who didn't speak life into me. And once I challenged those negative thoughts, challenged all of it, I started breaking myself away from it. It took some years. It took a lot of years to unembody, if you can, I think that's a word. It took a lot of years to unembody things that was not due to me. And, I don't regret any of it. I just now know that doubting yourself when you don't have no concrete facts can very much distract you from a lot of missed opportunities if you believed in yourself more. If that made any sense. And it can cause a lot of confusion as well. But the main thing that I had to focus on during that time was keep challenging those thoughts, keep challenging every action, be aware of what when something comes up and my anticipation for it, my apprehension for it. Why do I feel that way? Why do I don't feel I can grab the bull by its horn? What is stopping me? What is that doubt I feel? And it's like, oh, I can't do it. Where's that coming from? Have you done something before like this? Yes, I have. Well, you made it. You overcame it. So you can do anything you believe you can. It's just a degree of how much your will is to overcome your self-doubt. That starts to play into question. But you can do all things because you know why? You're here today. If you didn't do the things you didn't think you knew how, you wouldn't be here today. So you overcame a lot of things, and we have to start thinking that way. If you want to hold on to your past, you have to start looking at your past in a positive way. You overcame it. I tell my clients as well that the past is gone. The future is not here. You only have this moment. So you only have right now to make a different choice in your life. What choice are you going to make in your life in order to be that individual you wish to see in this world? And self-doubt plays a lot on making that choice. And when you get to that crossroad, am I going to be my best friend or my worst enemy? And that's what self-doubt wants you to do, be your worst enemy. But you have to be your own best friend, because if you don't love yourself, you can't expect anybody else to. So you have to really challenge all the self-doubt that comes up, because it's a liar. And we also have to understand that self-doubt is not an isolated event. Everyone experiences it. Even of the prettiest of females on Facebook, or the handsomest of handsome men on Facebook, or whatever the case may be, experience self-doubt. Every human has experienced self-doubt. There's no one in this world that said they had no self-doubt in this world. It's not an isolated event. It's a common event, a common circumstance. And rather looking at it as an isolated event, look at it as an event that took place and it wasn't corrected to promote a healthy mindset to foster a positive growth in you. Look at it in that way. Look at it as in a positive way. It wasn't an event that fostered healthy growth. No one really spoke life into me, but I'm going to challenge it. I'm going to dig deep and find my purpose and identity and know that I am more than what this negative thing is trying to say about me. And that leads me into the 5 steps that I use in my daily life in order to overcome some of the self-doubt that I had to overcome throughout my journey up until today. So the first one I spoke a little bit about is about talking back to your inner critics. All right, that's the first one. And the inner critics is not externally. The inner critics are in your head. It's when you hear that voice in your head telling you you are not good enough. Challenge it. Challenge that inner voice. Ask yourself if what it's saying is really true and come up with evidence to support or contradict it. Now, I want you to be careful about that, because sometimes we like to fuel our negative thoughts with fake facts. Okay. I'm not smart enough because I remember that one moment I failed a test. Well, are there any other moments in your life that you had a B or A in? Oh, there is? Okay, that's factual too. Don't solely look on the negative for facts. positive and be honest about those facts. If you have a test that you passed twice and back to back, that's facts right there that you got an A on. Yeah, maybe before that you had three C's, but you just had two A's. So there, that four, don't sell yourself short. Look at the good and bad of each facts. The second thing, focus on your strength. It's okay to have pros and cons about ourselves that make us humble because we're not perfect, all right? But you also have to lean into your strengths and find those. Make a list of those positive qualities and accomplishments. Remind yourself of them regularly and use them to counteract any negative self-talk. I refer to this as affirmations. That's a positive thing. I am wonderful. I am beautiful. I will do all things. I am going to accomplish this goal. I love myself. I forgive myself. I will. You have to put it out there. How do you see yourself in a positive way? I say also to my clients, don't fake it till you make it. Just do it. Say you're gonna do it. Don't fake it till you make it. You're making it. You're making it so much because you're choosing to get up every day. Someone just yesterday could not tell their story today because they did not get out of bed. They're maybe 6 feet under, but you chose to get out of bed. You chose to survive another day to tell your story. So you're not faking it till you make it. You're making it. You're making these choices and you're doing them. So you have to remind yourself of those regularly so it can counteract all the negative self-talk. Number 3, practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding and respect that you would offer a good friend, a relative, loved one. Do the same thing. One would say that's called empathy. Remember that everyone makes mistakes and experience setbacks, and that's okay. I call it grace. When you want to forgive yourself and give yourself understanding and kindness, I call it grace. My principal once said when it comes to setbacks, that setbacks are just a setup for a comeback. And it's so true. A setup is just a setback is just a setup for a comeback. It's so true. We have to learn from our obstacles and our mistakes and our adversities and grow from them. But through all that, we have to show grace and forgiveness to ourselves and others. Ask yourself why? Because of empathy. You want to do unto others as you want others to do unto you. No one's perfect, and we need to keep that in the forefront of our head more than getting frustrated at someone or ourselves. Number 4, stop comparing yourself to others. Self-doubt goes hand in hand with comparing yourself to others. And I speak a lot about this in my novel, Manifest Your Canvas, comparison. No need to compare yourself. No need to look left or right, because when you're looking left or you're looking right, you forgot what's in front of you. And that's the goal that you need, and that's the goal that you set for yourself. But you're going to skip over something because you're not focused on that goal because you're distracting yourself. No need to compare yourself. No need to do it because you're right here in this moment when you need to be in this moment. Forget if they 2 steps ahead. That's good for them. But you're in this moment for a reason. And if you don't learn that reason, you're going to stay in this moment while they keep being steps ahead of you. So focus on yourself rather than looking left and right. Comparing yourself to others can be very toxic and lead to self-doubt. Need y'all to hear that. Comparing yourself can lead to self-doubt. Remember that everyone is on their journey and you are making progress at your own pace. You have to remember that. You have to focus on your goal. That's the number 1. You have to focus on your goal. Number 5 is celebrating your success. So you're focusing on your goals, you're making those pros and cons, you're being self-aware. You have to now celebrate your success. After you gain your success, that's your success. It may not be the success you envision at level 10, but that's your success at level 1. Then you have success level 2, 3, 4, until you get to 8, 9, and then eventually 10. But those small steps, those small goals will pay dividend in the long run. When you achieve something, no matter how small, take the time to celebrate it. Take the time to celebrate it. Acknowledge the hard work or the difficult work that you had to do to overcome it. That in itself is great. That in itself is great because You overcame something and you could have chose to let it overcome you. That in itself is great. Give yourself that credit. Give yourself that credit. You want to see others give to you because you deserve that credit. So you have to celebrate your success. So those are the 5 steps. I hope that you took some time to listen to them, let it resonate, so it can fit in today and use those helpful tips and tricks. All right, so that's all for today. I hope you guys found today's discussion to be delightful. I said delightful. I meant insightful or delightful. I hope you found today's discussion to be insightful. And as someone who lived through self-doubt when she was younger, I'm telling you it's not easy, but it is a necessity to your waking life. And I can say that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trips and tips that you can use, but the journey is what is up. The journey is up to you. Those steps are up to you. You can take them, you can leave them, but those steps and journey, what you make your life, is up to you. All right, you're not broken. Only thing you have to do is glue yourself together so you can get better. Through all the practice of self love, you will reach that journey that you want. That is finding your purpose and your identity. You can always put yourself around friends if you choose to, but they can only bring you to the water. They cannot force you to drink it. I want to thank you all for joining me for today. Part 2 of self love will be out, and take your time and listen to what I had to say because it does mean a lot. You can provide some feedback, 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 and let me know how what you done to overcome self doubt or fulfill yourself up with self love. Talk to me down in the comment section below. All my kings and queens, find grace and forgiveness in yourself. Fill yourself up with self love because you love it. See you on the flip side. Bye bye.